This is Koth_Marivist_B1. It's one of the more recent custom mare maps in Team Fortress 2, and honestly it doesn't look too crazy at first glance. It's just a remake of Koth_Harvest with different colors, right? The map isn't even that big, and it's basically a vanilla map. But you see, this map has a bit of a reputation. There are two retards who've been battling each other for the last couple of days to get to a certain part of the map in record time. What attracts these massive fucking losers to Marivist in particular? Well, probably the fact that this map has that sweet height we all strive to attain, mares. Let's start by taking a close look at the route itself. Donk % begins with laying a sticky outside of spawn and jumping with it. During this jump, it's optimal to use a mid-air loose cannon jump. You switch to loose cannon, hold the cannonball, and turn around. When the cannonball explodes in the chamber, the explosion will cause you to accelerate. While this sounds like a simple maneuver, a skilled player must be incredibly precise in order to get the optimal mid-air jump. After you perform the loose cannon jump, you air strafe close to the window by using your AD keys while moving the mouse. Once inside the house, you place another sticky, and jump up to the ledge where you can find the music horse dancing. This whole debacle started on June 6, 2021. A YouTube user named Donk Enthusiast uploaded a video titled Superfast Donk Enthusiast moving at incredibly high speed. This video contained the first ever recorded run of Donk %, and had some key features. So, the first thing to notice is the loadout choice. As previously mentioned, the route uses two stickies and a mid-air loose cannon jump. The decision to use this loadout from the start was pretty optimal, as many people might have instead opted to use two stickies at the start and no loose cannon. However, the loose cannon strategy is ultimately faster. The time of 8:30 here refers to 8 seconds and 30 frames, so because the game is recorded at 60 FPS, it's equivalent to 8.5 seconds. However, despite the good decisions made, this run was far from optimal. He looked down during the loose cannon jump, which is slower than flicking behind you, and he overshot the jump to the window. Additionally, once inside, he hit his head while jumping to the ledge. Anyone who watched the run could tell it was far from optimal, but who would be stupid enough to optimize a run that was done for a joke? Silly concept, right? Well, later that day, an incredibly handsome YouTube user with fantastic taste in horses commented might optimize this just to be petty and win below the video. Little did he know what he would get himself into. Later again on June 6, the meatmann uploaded Destroying Donk Enthusiast, 7.6666740 Donk % Koth_Marivist_B1WR, onto YouTube. This run featured 3 key improvements. 1. The starting point was closer to the exit of spawn, but it was still one of the 9 default spawn points on Koth_Marivist_B1. 2. The loose cannon jump was more optimized, featuring a turnaround for more speed during the jump. 3. Meatmann did not hit his head on the frame while jumping onto the ledge, resulting in no slowdown. These 3 optimizations allowed meatmann to save 50 frames over the previous record, bringing it down to 7 seconds and 40 frames. Additionally, this run used the CL_show pose command to verify the first frame of movement from the meatmann. However, in order to use CL_show pose, SV_cheats must be enabled. Additionally, because SV_cheats was enabled, meatmann used a bind to teleport back to spawn in order to more efficiently perform attempts at runs. Lastly, this run featured a spray on the wall outside spawn, depicting Jerma's rotting fucking corpse being distorted further and 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 further and. But donk enthusiast wasn't gonna let his wife go that easily. He came back the next day with a 725, in a video titled Reclaiming donk%Koth_Marivist_B1WR, 725. This run featured 2 main improvements, as well as minor things like tie-to play. First, the sticky plus loose cannon jump was well strafed so that he landed right next to the door. Secondly, the jump onto the ledge was a lot smoother, with a good air strafe towards Octavia. These 2 details clenched him the world record. Lastly, while it didn't necessarily make his run very much faster, donk enthusiast started this run from the resupply cabinet, while the previous 2 runs had started from respawn. This showed that it was legal to start from the resupply cabinet. But, in his hubris, donk enthusiast made one mistake. He insulted the meatmann. In the description of the video, it said, quote, "No meatmann, what happened? Also, higher LVL and casual than you." Seeing this, meatmann knew he would have to fire back. He left a comment saying pretty good. I might have to try this time. And try he did. The meatmann did attempts for hours, and came close to beating the 725, coming within a single frame of donk enthusiast's run, but after that, it seemed impossible. Donk Chad's run was apparently too good for him to beat. And then, this happened. On June 7, in a video titled Reclaiming My Rightful Record, 6.750-645 donk%Koth_Marivist_B1WR, the meatmann pulled off a 645, shaving 40 whole frames off of the previous record. This run had a lot going for it. The air strafe into the window landed him directly inside the building, and the jump onto the ledge was clean too. Also, it started from the resupply cabinet, just like the previous record. But right then, donk fired back, with a 614 later that day. This run featured a similarly optimized strafe into the house and a very soft indoor jump which beautifully strafed towards Octavia. At this point, the run was looking near perfect, but donk enthusiast knew sub-6 was possible. It was just a question of when someone would get it. Once again, the attempts started, both meatmann and donk enthusiast aiming for a sub-6 time. Meatmann to beat donk, and donk to defend his record. And then, it happened. The meatmann uploaded a video titled Piece 5.933556 donk % coth _marivist _b1wr. This video featured the world's first sub-6 run, at 5 seconds and 56 frames. What's even more insane is that right after this run, donk enthusiast finished his own sub-6 run, at 5 seconds and 59 frames. This frame-perfect run was impressive, but not the world record, and footage of it isn't on donk's YouTube channel. In the meatmann's run, the first jump was nothing special, and actually worse than the previous two records from both donk and himself. But his in-house jump was nearly flawless. He used a new technique of placing the sticky on the opposite wall in order to get the maximum speed from the jump, and strafe directly into the corner. However, with these newly christened sub-6 runs, it's important to note something about the timing of the runs. Both donk and meatmann understood that timing started when you move your character. That much is obvious. But, until after these sub-6 runs, they hadn't agreed on how to count the end of the run. Donk had been using the first frame of Octavia's dancing animation, while meatmann had been using whenever he passed the second rung from the far wall, because he couldn't see her in all of the runs. Meatmann decided to start using donk's timing method, as he knew his was somewhat strange and hard to count when competing on a frame-by-frame level. With that cleared up, both parties were clear for more attempts. Later that day, donk enthusiast released a 5:48. This run featured the same off-the-wall in-house jump, as well as a better out-of-house jump and strafing. The next day, on June 8, meatmann came out with a 5:36. This run also didn't feature any new strategy, just better gameplay. An interesting thing to note is that this run was achieved with relatively few attempts, and meatmann claimed it took him less than an hour to finish the run. Being able to achieve a new record in a category this competitive so easily was a feat not often seen. Surely this wouldn't happen again? Well, on June 9, donk enthusiast achieved a 5:22 after only about 10 minutes of attempts. That's insane, considering the hours spent to pull off any of the previous attempts. With that insane time, donk stole the world record, and that's where it sits today. Meatmann has apparently retired, but might do more runs if he finds the time. Donk thinks that a sub-5 is possible, but doesn't have the motivation to go for it until someone comes up to compete against his record. Any aspiring runner might be able to crawl out of the woodwork and steal it from him. All they need to do is try. Maybe the sub-5 is inevitable, and someone will achieve it someday. Maybe no one fucking cares and donk fag's record will live on forever. This has been the history of donk %. Thank you for watching.
You are grounded.